Okay, SmackDown lowdown. Here we go. SmackDown opens up with the New Day. They come out with a big plate of pancakes for everybody. And here's the thing, though. Kofi, they're upset about Kofi. Kofi, they think he hasn't been treated right. There was even some talk that maybe the New Day were willing to quit the WWE over this. That would be no bueno. Anyway, they asked Mr. McMahon to come out and talk to them, and he obliges. And he comes out, he's looking mostly like a clown, to be honest with you. They got so much makeup on this dude these days to make him look like a human being that he just doesn't look like a human being. He makes a bunch of noises, and Daniel Bryan comes out eventually to save the segment. And he says that, hey, let the New Day quit, you know? He thinks that Kofi's a B-plus guy, and Vince thinks Kofi's a B-plus guy too, but he's willing to give him a shot to get to WrestleMania. But here's the thing, he's not willing to give Kofi any more shots to get to WrestleMania. He's going to give the other two members of the New Day a shot to get Kofi to WrestleMania by performing in a tag team gauntlet. And how many gauntlet matches are we going to have on SmackDown leading up to WrestleMania? How many? This is getting outrageous at this point. Anyway, there'll be a tag team gauntlet later in the night. This is kind of like a B-minus segment, B segment. Charlotte comes out and she has a match against Asuka for the Women's Championship. And Charlotte is working as a heel very much in the ring, very disrespectfully towards Asuka. Asuka working very desperately to try to protect her championship before WrestleMania. Charlotte, like I said, she's doing all the heels. She's doing all the heel spots in the ring. She's doing all the just barely getting, like, there's points, you know, the basic heel spots where somebody's trying to get up to the top rope to maybe do a move, and you get over there just in time to crack them one in the face while they're on their way up, and you know, those are the kind of spots that Charlotte is having in this match, and it's working really well. Asuka was really working like the fighting spirit angle of this whole thing, and has a very roller coaster type journey through the match. Charlotte hits a nasty Spanish fly from the top rope, and Asuka is able to kick out at maybe like 2.7. You know, there's a point where Charlotte starts telling Asuka to give up. They're in the ring together. She's telling her give up, and Asuka's screaming back. Maybe just a scream, maybe something in Japanese. I'm not sure. And Charlotte gets in a top mount position, starts dropping elbows down. And Asuka, she kind of gets Charlotte in a bit of a triangle choke. Charlotte lifts up with like a one-arm power bomb, which this is a Charlotte Flair spot, something that she does a lot. And she slams, but it always looks good. She slams Asuka down pretty good, and Asuka kicks out of a pin. It gets really dramatic, and it's kind of at this point, like watching it, like as it's happening, I'm thinking to myself, this so far after all of Raw and a little bit of SmackDown, this is the match of the week so far, without me being able to like pinpoint exactly how it's even going to end yet or what's to come left on the show, right? Charlotte taps Asuka with the figure 4 leg lock that was bridged into a figure 8. I don't really know what this means for Asuka, but it means that Charlotte is the SmackDown Women's Champion going into WrestleMania, which is kind of silly, I think. That triple threat match doesn't need 2 champions in it. You could only win one of the belts. It's not as though maybe they will. Maybe they will swerve us somehow and be like, if Becky, whoever gets pinned loses their title, and their title goes to the person who did the pinning, but it's not necessarily like you lose your title. Like, For instance, if Becky were to pin Charlotte, Ronda wouldn't lose her title. I don't like that as much, but that could be what happens. They could swerve it in that direction. They're certainly open to doing so now, where they weren't before. Either way, the match, just to grade the match itself without me having to get into what I think this means for Asuka and how poor Asuka or anything like that. Just two people got in the ring, put on a match. How entertaining was it? How this, how that? It was awesome. It was awesome. A minus. Kurt Angle comes out to face AJ Styles, and Kurt Angle is like, the match against Samoa Joe on Raw was cool. And this match starts off looking like it's going to be pretty cool too. They both are kind of exchanging submissions. I believe it starts out AJ puts Kurt in a calf crusher, and Kurt eventually flips that around into an ankle lock, and AJ escapes. And just as he's about to execute the next sequence, Randy Orton shows up, hits an RKO on AJ Styles, and there's disqualification, and Kurt Angle wins by DQ. And then he picks up Randy and hits Randy with an angle slam, and that's it's actually kind of genius booking a little bit. If you'll follow me in the sense that it maybe can do a little bit of good for AJ Styles and Randy Orton's feud going into WrestleMania. It also makes Randy look even more. It gets him even more heat with the fans because he ruined a match that maybe people wanted to see, and it also protects Kurt Angle in the ring, where he doesn't have to do this match with AJ Styles without it making him look weak. He didn't do anything to cause this match to get disqualified. It wasn't even one of his allies. It was just a guy who had beef with AJ Styles. And Kurt avenged him. I mean, it doesn't make Kurt look bad. And it's still, he's not in the ring that much going up to WrestleMania. Raw's match against Samoa Joe was good. Could have been better. It was very slow. I'm glad this isn't another one of those, and instead we got a little bit of an angle, So we have the next little bit that we have is The Miz comes out to talk to us as a face, and it's sort of weird. Miz says that he wants a false count anywhere match. Shane McMahon comes out with 2 layers of security. He has his rhetoric going, and eventually he gets to calling The Miz his father's greatest mistake was impregnating The Miz's mom, and The Miz doesn't like that. He runs right through the first layer of security closed guys, and gets to a layer of wrestlers. We have one of the Colognes. I'm not sure if it's Epico or Primo, and we have who else was out there? Sanity, all of Sanity, and Shelton Benjamin as well. And The Miz gets through Epico and Shelton, but Sanity is beating him down pretty good. Eventually, he comes back, and he takes out the members of Sanity and gets a huge pop from the crowd in the process. This is like another B segment. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Everything good about it, nothing bad about it, nothing great about it, but overall, it's good. The tag team gauntlet match is set to begin, and the first opponents will be Gallows and Anderson. And basically, with the increase in quality of opponent, we get an increase in quality of match. That's pretty much what happens here. So the first opponents are Gallows and Anderson, and it's still kind of hard to believe at this point that Carl Anderson came to WWE to be a third tier guy. You know, I hear they're on their way out. We'll see what happens, but I hear that they are on. The Gallows and Anderson are both on their way out. I would be shocked if they didn't wind up in AEW. Not just because they're leaving WWE. Let's be real here. Because they're Bullet Club guys. That's why I think they might wind up in AEW. Because AEW is literally founded by Bullet Club guys. And these guys are Bullet Club guys. And so that's kind of what says to me that that's where they'd be headed. I don't think they would just go back to New Japan. Yeah, I know that's where Bullet Club is, ROH and New Japan, but the guys that they were more directly involved with are over in AEW right now. Big E and Xavier, they end this part of the match, this particular match within the gauntlet very quickly. It's over in just a couple of seconds. Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev are the second team the New Day will have to face. And I also want to add, Shinsuke should have been WWE champion at some point in time within the last 12 months. There's almost no doubt that that's the case. Last year's Royal Rumble winner, involved in a pretty good feud with AJ Styles that ultimately, I think, disappointed all of us with the way it fizzled out. I thought that would go out with a bang. I really thought that we were finally going to get Shinsuke winning the belt. I was like, man, they're not going to do this another last man standing match or whatever. We're not going to see it again without Shinsuke winning. And we did. And then Shinsuke gets a United States Championship run immediately after and isn't on TV. And it just, their handling of Shinsuke has been something else. Anyway, Nakamura and now he's in a tag team. And Nakamura and Rusev make for a considerably longer match for the New Day. It goes back and forth for a while. There's even points where in a normal situation, you might, like not a gauntlet match, you might think that Nakamura and Rusev were about to win. However, it does have one thing in common with the match before it, and that's it ends with an up, up, down, down. And the New Day on their way marching off to face their third opponent, which is the Bar. And this match is actually really good because the Bar are actually really good. As much as I despise them, they work really well in the ring. And as much as I think that Sheamus and Cesaro are both boring, they're not boring in the ring. They're just their gimmick is their shtick is boring to me. But they're supposed to be heels. I'm not supposed to like them that much, right? The match begins with Big E really getting it taken to him by both members of the Bar. He gets pulled away from a hot tag. He gets caught in several submissions. He's in trouble. Eventually, Xavier is hot tagged into the match, and he comes in like house on fire. And we get shots of literally every single face on SmackDown in the back, huddled around a monitor, watching this match with Kofi, celebrating as Xavier eventually clears the ring and pins the Bar. And however, the Bar continue their attack on the New Day after the bell. And they bring in a table and they put Big E through the table. And just as they're leaving the ring, the Usos entrance music hits. And they're kind of the only face in the, the only other face team in the tag team gauntlet. But they're not really a face team at this point. They're more like tweeners. but they do come out and pull the ultimate face move in a big surprise, honestly. They come out and say, despite the fact that they've had straight up wars with the New Day over the years, they believe there's only one person who deserves to face Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania, and that person is Kofi Kingston. And so they forfeit. Right there, they forfeit. And it gives the New Day a little bit of time to breathe. They look very a competitor's understanding, a competitor's appreciation for their rivals, you know. And but the final team that they will have to face in order to get Kofi to WrestleMania is that of Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan. And it didn't look good at first, but they got the job done eventually with Big E rolling the announce table over top of Eric Rowan, and rolling back into the ring and waiting for the 10 count. It wasn't the strongest way to win, but given everything that they had gone through, you understand even with a face team like the New Day resorting to slightly heelish tactics there of rolling an announce table over somebody and basically entombing them underneath it, like entombing, imprisoning. He wasn't dead or buried, really. But you know, they get him trapped under that table. I mean, that's kind of a heelish way to win, but not when you've just gone through 5 other tag teams and gone through a 35-minute, 40-minute gauntlet match, right? All in all, the gauntlet match wasn't bad. I actually enjoyed it second most out of the trio of gauntlet matches that we've gotten within the last 8 weeks. The one I enjoyed the most was the one before the Elimination Chamber, then this one, and last week's was, I almost didn't have the guts to say it at the time when I made my video last week, but I found last week's gauntlet match to just be boring. I was bored. Not that it didn't have some entertaining spots, because it did, but overall, I was bored, and I was less bored of this one. But hey, Kofi's going to WrestleMania. We have a big celebration in the ring, and that's the end. That's the end of SmackDown. So yeah, WrestleMania, not this weekend, but next weekend. It's in like 12 days or something at this point. I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Not only just there, but are we going to get swerved a little bit on a couple of the matches still? Exactly what's going to take place here. One thing I didn't cover, we did have the official announcement, though it's been kind of obvious for a couple of weeks at this point. The official announcement that the Women's Tag Team Championship match at WrestleMania will be Sasha and Bayley versus Natalya and Beth Phoenix versus Nia and Tamina versus the Iconics. And that's cool. I kind of have my fingers crossed and am hoping somehow that Io Shirai and Kairi Sane get added into the mix and we get a 5-team tag match. I just think that'd be really cool. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon.